Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here with me. Today, we're taking up a really fascinating journey into the foundational days of Indian English literature. We're looking at that specific time when a brand new nation was finding its voice, and a completely new literary tradition was being forged on the anvil of history. All right, let's dive right in, shall we?
Now, it's quite a significant question to ask. Who exactly built the foundation of the Indian English novel? You see, pre-independence India was a land of immense linguistic diversity, right? But it was striving for a unified political and cultural expression. And it was right at this critical juncture that India found a robust, global literary voice through three absolutely brilliant stalwarts. They took what was essentially a foreign language and they totally imbued it with the soil, the sweat, and the soul of the Indian subcontinent.
So, here's a quick look at how we'll proceed today. We'll start off by introducing the pioneering trio of Indian fiction. Then, we'll look at the unique contributions of Anand, Narayan, and Rao individually before clubbing them together for a comparative study. And finally, we'll wrap up with their enduring legacy. Let's get started.
Moving to our very first topic, the trio of Indian fiction, the true pioneers of an era.
This esteemed trio comprises Mulkraj Anand, R.K. Narayan, and Raja Rao. And what's truly fascinating about these gentlemen is their timeline. They emerged right during the pre-independence era. You have to remember, before them there was really no established tradition of the Indian novel in English. They basically stepped up to a blank slate. By writing about India, but focusing on distinctly different aspects of Indian society, these three pioneers gave Indian writing in English its very own distinctive pan-Indian identity. They literally established the foundation of modern Indian English fiction.
Let us now turn our attention to our first luminary, Mulkraj Anand. He is famously known as the voice of the oppressed.
Anand operated on one incredibly powerful belief. The function of literature is to humanize. And honestly, this was the very heartbeat of his writing. He was a massive champion of the marginalized, fighting this fierce street-level battle against social inequality and the rigid caste system. For Anand, you see, the novel wasn't just some light entertainment. No, it was an urgent tool for the social upliftment of the masses and the promotion of deep humanism.
He brought stark social realism directly into Indian English fiction. Deeply influenced by Marxist thought, he penned epic-making works like Untouchable, Coolie, and Two Leaves in a Bud back in the mid-1930s. Through these really intense novels, along with later works like The Big Heart and The Village, Anand finally gave a voice to the voiceless. We're talking about the laborers, the peasants, and the untouchables who had been completely ignored in polite literature up until that point. He essentially introduced the concept of social protest to the Indian English novel, writing with immense sympathy for the poor and downtrodden.
Now we gently shift our focus to our second pillar. This is R.K. Narayan, the widely beloved chronicler of Malgudi.
I'm sure if you've read any Indian literature, you've definitely walked the dusty lanes of Malgudi. Malgudi is that quintessential fictional town created by Narayan. It serves as this perfect, universal setting for realistic portrayals of ordinary middle-class Indian life. Through absolute simplicity and a beautifully gentle irony, Narayan made the everyday happenings of a South Indian town universally accessible. And he made it deeply nostalgic for readers all across the globe. He had this amazing knack for tackling universal themes using intensely local settings. His brilliant realism in portraying middle-class society is just beautifully evident in absolute classics. You know the ones: Swami and Friends, The Guide, Malgudi Days, The Bachelor of Arts, and The English Teacher. Naturally, these epoch-making contributions didn't go unnoticed. He was conferred with the highly prestigious Sahitya Akademi Award for The Guide, and he was also honored with the Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. Without a doubt, he remains the quintessential storyteller of India.
Let's move on to our third section now. And as we do, we are ascending to the spiritual and contemplative heights of Raja Rao, the philosopher-novelist.
To truly understand Raja Rao, it is absolutely essential to look at his masterwork, Kantapura. This is actually one of the earliest political novels in Indian English. It masterfully depicts the sweeping, magnetic influence of Mahatma Gandhi on the rural Indian masses. Kantapura is such a vital text, you see, because it beautifully fuses a foreign language with the very soul of India's political and spiritual awakening.
Raja Rao basically proved that the English language could effectively capture the deep philosophical and metaphysical sensibilities of Indian thought. It's a real game changer.
He brilliantly blended traditional Indian storytelling techniques, much like the rhythm of our ancient Puranas, right into the English language. You can see this spiritual dimension so vividly in major works like The Serpent and the Rope, The Cat and Shakespeare, and Comrade Kirillov. Through these texts, Rao firmly rooted Indian English literature in deep traditions and profound metaphysical exploration.
All right, having discussed these three luminaries individually, let us now do a comparative study and bring their distinct voices together.
When we place them side by side, a really complete picture emerges. Think about it. Anand was deeply concerned with social problems and the poor, writing with this stark, direct realism that truly marked him as a social reformer. Narayan, on the other hand, focused entirely on everyday middle-class life. He used a simple, humorous tone to become the definitive storyteller of India. Meanwhile, Rao elevated the novel to explore culture and metaphysics through complex symbolism, cementing his reputation as a philosopher-novelist. Together, they basically represent the street, the society, and the soul of India. A complete three-dimensional view, isn't it?
This brings us to our final segment, the trio's enduring legacy. So why exactly is it so crucial that we study them today?
Well, the impact of these three stalwarts simply cannot be overstated. Active during the highly volatile and transformative nationalist and post-independence periods, they were essentially the true ambassadors of the Indian reality to the rest of the world. They exported the struggles, the daily life, and the deep spirituality of the subcontinent straight to global readers. And honestly, it is entirely because of their sheer literary merit that Indian English literature secured the kind of massive international recognition it enjoys today.
Just to cement your learning today, I kindly ask you to memorize this one brilliant summary. Anand fought for society, Narani narrated society, and Raja Rao philosophized society. Let me repeat that one more time because it captures their essence just perfectly. Anand fought for society, Narani narrated society, and Raja Rao philosophized society. Keep that in mind.
Well, we have reached the end of our explainer for today, but before we part ways, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to ponder over. Which architect's vision of India resonates most with our society today? I mean, do we see more of Anand's ongoing struggle for social justice, or perhaps Narayan's humorous, everyday middle-class complexities? Or is it Raja Rao's enduring philosophical quests? I'd really encourage you to reflect deeply on how these historical perspectives continue to mirror modern India. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep learning, and I wish you all the very best.